still going strong under the direction of a new president who was then in the process of extending and validating many of the Bush administration's most contentious policies. And there was no end in sight. Wolfowitz was long gone from the Pentagon, and in the 2008 elections, Americans had swept the Republicans from power. Perhaps Barack Obama's greatest political strength was that he seemed as different from George Bush as any politician could be. His campaign offered the promise of light following 8 years of Dick Cheney's fondness for operating on what he called the dark side. But executive power, once accumulated, is a hard thing to give up, and Obama quickly succumbed. He announced that he was determined to look forward, not back, and that he opposed any broad new investigations of the Bush administration's use of torture, extraordinary rendition, domestic spying, or other potential crimes. After issuing an executive order to close the prison at Guantanamo Bay on his first day in office, Obama changed course and kept it open. He surrounded himself with advisers who had been deeply enmeshed in the Bush administration's most contentious national security policies. He expanded the use of drones in so-called targeted killings around the world, continued the use of military tribunals to try terrorism suspects, allowed investigators to question such suspects captured in the United States without reading them their Miranda rights, and approved the non-judicial killing of American citizens who joined al-Qaeda. He did virtually nothing to rein in widespread contracting abuse in Iraq, Afghanistan, or the broader global war on terror. He pushed for and won the authority to allow the National Security Agency, NSA, to continue to conduct broad electronic surveillance on Americans, and he went further, placing the NSA in charge of cybersecurity, giving the spy agency broad new access to the domestic internet. Senators from his own party soon began to warn that Obama was secretly expanding the government's surveillance powers even beyond those authorized by Bush. Obama allowed the Civil Liberties Panel that was supposed to provide oversight of the government's war on terror to remain idle and only partially staffed for years. His administration launched a draconian crackdown on the press, spying on reporters while prosecuting more leakers and whistleblowers than all previous administrations combined. And it paid off for Obama by taking the edge off long-standing Republican critiques that Democrats were soft on national security. Obama performed a neat political trick. He took the national security state that had grown to such enormous size under Bush and made it his own. In the process, Obama normalized the post-9/11 measures that Bush had implemented on a haphazard emergency basis. Obama's great achievement, or great sin, was to make the national security state permanent. Half a century earlier, President Dwight Eisenhower had warned of a new military-industrial complex. Under Bush and Obama, a parallel Homeland Security industrial complex has been born. The rise of the military-industrial complex had been fueled by fears of communism. Now another abstract fear was driving hundreds of billions of dollars a year into building the infrastructure necessary to wage a permanent war on terror, and it had grown like kudzu around the CIA, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, Treasury Department, Pentagon, and dozens of other smaller offices and federal agencies. The post-9/11 panic led Congress to throw cash at counterterrorism faster than the FBI, CIA, and other agencies were able to spend it. One 2012 estimate concluded that the decade of war had cost Americans nearly $4 trillion. Greed and power are always a dangerous combination. In wartime, power expands and greed can easily follow. The more our counterterrorism infrastructure has grown, the harder it has become to control. The traditional military-industrial complex was at least partly visible to outsiders. It comprised mammoth defense contractors that built airplanes, ships, and rockets, as well as high-tech firms that pioneered computers and advanced electronics. There were often public, aggressive congressional debates about spending on big new weapon systems, and major defense contractors frequently felt compelled to take out advertisements in newspapers.